Hey, hello, and welcome to another Kuma's Kitchen. And tonight, oh, this is like one of those old comfort food favorites. Mac and cheese, but this isn't your ordinary Kraft orangey mac and cheese. No, no, no. This is topped up with a couple things. So I call this baked, caramelized onion and sausage mac and cheese. Because yes, I caramelized the onions. There's a bratwurst in here, and it goes in the oven for a little bit just to kind of bake it. And well, as you can see, brown. Let's have a look. Look at this. Look how brown this piece here is from the edge, around the edges of the pan. You get nicely browned. And then, oh, yeah, that's good. So. You can use any kind of cheese in this. I use Gouda tonight. Any mixture of cheeses. The other thing is that it's great. You can actually, replace all these things in here. You might, instead of sausage, you might take, hey, you know what? Bacon block or barbecued pork or whatever. Throw that in there. And why not add some mushrooms? Those are always good in here too. So there's all kinds of things you can do with this mac and cheese. You can make all kinds of variations out of it. So let's go in the kitchen and make this one right now. To make this delicious version of mac and cheese, here's my ingredients. So across the front, I've got a 1/4 cup of flour. I've got 3 cloves of garlic, thinly sliced. I've got 1 teaspoon of salt. Over here, a 1/4 cup of butter. Then the pasta. That is 8 ounces or 230 grams of penne, or you can use macaroni, or sometimes I use my favorite fusilli. And actually, you might notice there's different colors in here. I've got 2 different batches of leftover penne, so use them all up. All right, so that was 8 ounces or 230 grams of penne. Over here, 1 large onion. This is a pretty sizable onion, quartered and thinly sliced. Here, a 1/2 cup of panko breadcrumbs, Japanese breadcrumbs. And then across the back, well, I've got here is 12 ounces or 340 grams of bratwurst, and sliced about 1/4 inch thick. This is the 14 ounces. There are 14 ounces or 400 grams of cheese, grated cheese in here. Now, you could use all kinds of different cheeses. I'm using Gouda today. Melts nicely. But you could use like cheddar, which adds a little bit more bite. I made up for the fact that there's not cheddar by going a full teaspoon of salt instead of a 1/2 teaspoon. But really, you could use cheddar. You could make a mixture, Parmesan and mozzarella, you name it. Any kind of cheese that's going to melt nicely in there, which basically is most cheeses, right? All right, then across here, 2 cups of milk. So first thing we're going to do, now I'm going to start cooking the penne a little bit later. I don't want to overcook it, so I'm not even going to cook it. I'm going to cook it a couple minutes less than the package directions. I want it a little bit under al dente because it's still going to cook when it's in the oven. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to start up. I got my cast iron pot because that's what's going to go in the oven. I'm going to bring that up to medium low. I don't want a full medium this time. I'm going to medium low because I want to cook the onions slowly. So get that butter melting in there. All right, butter's melted. So in goes the onion and the salt. And what I want to do now is just stirring this every once in a while. We're cooking slowly. We want to caramelize these onions. We get them soft and start caramelizing and browning. That's just what's going to really add a lot of flavor. So I'm going to cook these for about anywhere between 13 and 15 minutes, roughly around there, until they're nice and soft and starting to brown a little bit. And then we're going to add in the sausages and the garlic. All right, so see you back here shortly. All right, that's been about 13 minutes or so, and my onions are soft. They're just starting to, a little bit of gold color appearing and all. Good. They're going to be cooking longer yet, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in the sausages and the garlic. Now that's also going to still stay at that medium low, and that way not going to burn the garlic. It's going to kind of caramelize it a little bit too, like the onion. This is going to be absolutely tasty. And we're just going to give a slight bit of browning to the sausages here, the bratwurst. Now the bratwurst are already cooked, so they don't really need to cook, but this always just adds a lot of flavor. So here we go. We're going to do that for about another 10 to 12 minutes. Now see you back here then. All right. So those onions are absolutely soft and delicious looking. The sausages are browned a bit. The garlic's ready. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in the flour and stir that in. I'm just going to cook that for about a minute, just to get the rawness out of the flour. Mix it around a little bit here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is start adding in the milk. I just want to add a little bit at first because we get a little bit burned to the bottom there as usual. So first thing we want to do is just scrape up anything from the bottom. There, look at that coming up, and it's going to start thickening right away. So just keep adding milk. And keep scraping until we've deglazed that bottom. All right. Add the rest of the milk. And then just mix well. What I want to do now is I want to bring this up to a simmer. And then I'm going to simmer it about 8 to 10 minutes. Just long enough for this to start thickening a little bit. We don't need to thicken much because we're going to be adding cheese, but we want to thicken it a little bit. All right, same time, I've got this coming to a boil over here. It's time to get the penne cooking. So in goes that. Yeah. Give it a stir with that. All right, gonna cook the penne. Like I said, we don't want to cook that the full amount of time. I want it to be a little undercooked, and then we'll bring everything together, and it's time to get in the oven. So see you back here shortly. All right, so the sauce here thickened up a couple minutes ago. The minute it does that, look at this. It's nice and thick and ready to go. The minute it does that, just turn the heat off. And you just let it sit there for a couple minutes while the pasta finishes cooking. Now that pasta is not even at al dente yet. It's a little, just about cooked, but not 100%. It's actually cooking right now a little bit more in its own steam. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix that into here. Just get that all throughout. All right, that's looking good. And then I'm going to mix most of the cheese in. Not all of it, but 3/4. I want to save a little bit for up on top. All right, so we're going to mix that down into there. Cheesy deliciousness. Look at it starting to melt and get stringy, perfect. Love it. This is going to be good. All right, so what I'm going to do now is once you mix the cheese in there, just kind of smooth out the top a bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you're kind of even. So what we're going to do now is, first, what are we going to do first? Now we're going to lick this. Oh, that was good. All right. So now I'm going to take the panko and just sprinkle it around on top here. Now, I know you can take panko and put it on the very top, add a little melted butter to it. Okay, you know the word, mendoksai, means that's just too much bother. Rather, I just put it here and save a little cheese to sprinkle on top of it, because that's going to wet up my panko anyway, so we don't need the butter. We already got butter in here. Much as I love butter, melting it and mixing into the panko is just a lot of extra work. All right. Okay. So this is going to go into the oven over there at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. That cheese is going to melt. We get maybe a little bit of browning on top, and mwah, deliciousness all throughout. So see you back here in half an hour. All right, nice little baked mac and cheese there. We just got a little crisping starting on top there. That's perfect. So what I'm going to do now, grab a bowl. Let's just dig in there and have a little look. Oh, a nice crunch as we go through. See those breadcrumbs? Let's see, I want that all together. Let's stay there. All right. And then I'm just going to bring a whole spoonful without making a mess. All right. This spoon can only hold so much. And this is the nice crunchy stuff around the outside here. Look at that. Beautiful brown crunchy stuff. Oh yeah. Well, that looks good. And a bit more right there. All right. That's dinner tonight. Looking forward to that. All right, so if you like this recipe, stick around. There's a lot more original Kevin Riley Kuma's Kitchen recipes here on the YouTube channel. And make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss any, because there's a new one coming out every week. Now, go make this delicious mac and cheese and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.